Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm on. Let me see that. That looks like. I didn't know I was on. Hey guys. No, what is this about? No, this is weird. Oh, this is a funny story. Let's wait till people come in a little bit. We get started here. And yeah, is the sound okay? Sounds okay? I guess I could listen to my. Yeah, okay, sounds okay. Um, Hi guys. Good to see you. 3 people watching now. This is 2 days in a row. Woo! I'm gonna jump on Twitter real quick and just tell people I'm on. There we go. Okay, cool. Good evening, La Forge Keeper. Okay. These are my pajamas. These are my wife's Christmas presents for me. She has the same pair. But anyway, so there's a couple of things I left off with yesterday that I didn't get to finish. So I want to continue with that a little bit. One of the things that I often tell myself and tell people is that and pardon me if I'm repeating myself, but your subjective experience is not scientifically valid. Okay? Your subjective experience is not scientifically valid. Yes. But your subjective experience is also, your anecdotal experience is also the most important, probably the most influential thing in your life. So it's kind of tricky. I saw a woman today, and I'm not gonna judge. I'm not. This isn't a criticism, but a woman today said, "I just came back to Japan," and I've been having migraine headaches because I got the COVID vaccine, and to be honest, I'd never heard of that, so I looked it up real quick, and I found a site that said, yeah, having headaches after getting any vaccine are quite common, not just COVID vaccines, but any vaccines. Hi, Belgium. Hi, Matt Raspberry. But here's the thing. She assumes that her headaches are from the vaccine, and I'm sure she believes it, and they might be. But there's no way to know. There's no way to know if that's true. I'll give you another kind of negative experience I had. I hired a Mormon teacher years ago, and he was a great teacher, very tall and handsome, fluent in Japanese, very good teacher. But he was kind of a not a nice person. He was not a nice person. He had a lot of problems. He came to Japan with his newly married, his new wife, right? And when we hired him, he was single. And then he arrives. We made arrangements for him to come to Japan. When he got here, he came with his wife. And we're like, you didn't tell us you were coming with your wife. He came with no money. I had to lend him money. It was a mess. Anyway, yes, cheers. And anyway, he was a real mean, unpleasant person to work with. Though he was very intelligent and a good teacher, but he was very unpleasant to work with. And he broke his contract after a year, so he didn't get his finishing bonus, which was quite substantial, like $3,000. I offered a $3,000 finishing bonus. And he said, no, I can't stand living here anymore. His wife was driving him crazy, I think. She hated Japan. Anyway, long story short, that's my only experience I've had with a Mormon teacher, okay? But after that, I never want to hire another Mormon teacher again. So that anecdotal experience, that subjective experience that I've had, of course, it's not scientifically valid. I can't say that all Mormons are bad people, and it's actually a bigoted thing to even think. But to be honest, that's how I felt. And like a week after he left, like one of his friends came by from the Mormon church. He's like, "Yeah, I knew, I'll call him William. It's not his name. And do you think I could work here?" And we're like, "Yeah, we'll call you." And I was just like, I don't want to work with anyone who knew him, who was his friend or anything. I didn't trust anybody after that. So that's an experience. That's an example of that. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that's an example of that. Now, I meant to say that last night, but I didn't get to it. So I just had to get that off my chest. Now, today, I'm actually going to talk to you about something that I think is a little bit different. There is a guy, and I have not looked at his YouTube channel for many, many years. Oh, well, actually, there's a couple things we can talk about. Let's talk about some news real quick. This is a funny story. This is a 75-year-old uranaishi, which is a fortune teller. It says right here. Used to be. It says moto uranaishi, which means ex fortune teller. And he, this is so funny. Yeah. That doesn't help much, does it? No. He's 74 years old. And apparently back in 2006 or something, he was married. I don't know if there's any information about that here. No, I guess not. Back in 2006, he had like 8 wives. So he's a polygamist. And, I don't know if I'm remembering all this, but it's not that important. Anyway, he's a crazy guy, right? He had like 8 different women. And recently he was arrested because he and his 34-year-old wife were enticing young women back to their house where he would do a reading of of their future, a reading, I don't know, a fortune telling reading, whatever. And he would tell them, "Oh, the future looks bad for you. You're gonna die, or you're going to be kidnapped by." In Japanese, they have 2 words for kidnap, so I was kind of wondering which one in English, but there's only one in English. You're going to be kidnapped by aliens, and they're going to peel off your face and eat your face. But there's one thing you can do to prevent this from happening, and that's have sex with me. So he would, and these girls were teenagers. They were they were like 18, 19, 20, and a lot of them would go along with it. Like, yeah, I don't want to be kidnapped by an alien and then have my face peeled off and eaten. That would suck. So I'll go ahead and have sex with you and make sure that doesn't happen. So bulletproof my future. Anyway, he was arrested, and that was it. So yeah, it was amazing that people believe this, and it wasn't just like one person; quite a few people apparently. Anyway, they arrested him, and that was it. I think one of the women fought him at the end because he was arrested with a wound on his head. You can see here, there's like a Band-Aid on his head right there. So yeah, he was arrested. Anyway, I don't do J News anymore, but I did study that a little bit. 宇宙人に食べられないようにするためには私とするしかない。So if you do not want to be eaten, in order not to be eaten by aliens, your only choice is to do it with me, said the ex-fortune teller. And his name is Shibuya, by the way. I think Hitoshi, maybe, I'm not sure. Names are always a little bit difficult. Hello, Carl Karsnack. Okay. So that's one thing I want to point out. The other thing I wanted to point out was I was on Facebook today, and I never go on Facebook. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time there, but I was on Facebook today, and this guy, under his real name, posted this thing about DiCaprio. and how he's such a creeper. Oh, DiCaprio. So what do you guys think about that? DiCaprio's like a 47, 48-year-old man. And there are rumors he's dating a 19-year-old girl, but they're unsubstantiated, and I think he even denied them. So actually, let's look that up while we're DiCaprio, 19-year-old. Oops. Just look that up. Not dating, so he's not even dating her. See? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, as you guys know, probably know because it's in the news so much, DiCaprio has been linked to a bunch of young girls forever. Oh, cool. Yeah. So, do you guys have any opinion about that? Man, are you interested in this story? Do you care? Be honest. Yeah, if you don't care, please tell me, because you will either support or fight and go against my what I'm about to tell you. So, as long as it's consensual, I think it's fine. Yeah. So, basically that's my opinion. And come on, are we? I mean, not to be sexist or misogynist, but are we middle-aged women who gossiping? I mean, who the hell cares? Who cares about this? It's in the news, and I suppose it's kind of interesting. But come on, men have been doing this for years. I think Mick Jagger's wife. Mick Jagger had Mick Jagger and his current what do they call that, baby mama, daddy mama, daddy baby daddy, I don't know. Anyway, he's got a girl who's 50 years younger than him who had his baby. Okay, so if they want to do that, that's fine. Personally, I can't imagine having a relationship with a girl that young. I'm not interested in that. I've always dated older women until I met my wife, but all the women I've ever dated in my life, pretty much, well, that's not completely true. 2 or 3 were younger. So there's this kind of semi-famous public figure on YouTube. On Facebook, he's called a public figure, but on YouTube, his name is AngryAussie. Okay, I'm going to tell you this is the guy. Okay, and he's not huge, but he's a public figure on Facebook. And he wrote under his real name, which I won't say. He wrote, and so he likes to rant. He likes to get on and just scream about people and just rant about things. Okay, he likes to scream at the camera. Okay, and he's been around a long time, like almost as long as I have, maybe longer. I don't even know. Let's see. Let's check him out. Yeah, almost the same time. I think I'm a year. I got a year on him. So we've been on YouTube about 15, 16 years. So he wrote this thing about, I think she's such a creeper, and all these people were supporting him. And I'm like, dude, who cares? Like, really? They're both adults, right? I mean, and how does this affect you? And so his response was, oh, you've outed yourself as a creeper. So you must be a creeper too, because you're defending this. And the thing is, I'm not defending it. I personally wouldn't do it. I even wrote that. I said, you wouldn't do it and I wouldn't do it. But they're both adults. Consent, I didn't say consenting, but I said they're both adults. Like, who cares? Why does this matter to you? Don't you have better things to do? I mean, there's fucking 11,000 people dead in Turkey. Isn't that a more useful subject to talk about, right? Or Russia and Ukraine. I mean, there's hundreds of things that are much more interesting and much more relevant, I think, to a middle-aged man than who the fuck DiCaprio is dating. Excuse me. Oh, by the way, anytime I do one of these live videos, I get no money at all. YouTube tells me you said the F word, so demonetizing the videos. That's okay. I'm not doing it for the money, but that said, that the people who donated last night, you thank you. At least I got something out of it. So besides my mental or psychological satisfaction, which I do appreciate. Anyway, so I wrote, basically, who cares? They're adults. How does this affect you? And he wrote back that, oh, nobody asked you to out yourself, but now you have. you're a creeper too, right? And I'm like, dude, you're completely avoiding the topic. I asked you, that's funny. I said, I'm not, and the thing is, I know, see, I've interacted with this guy quite a few times in the past. Like we've actually emailed each other back in the day. Well, I wouldn't say we were friends, but we were friendly. And he knows I'm not that kind of guy, right? Well, what is that kind of? I'm not the kind of guy who would date a 19-year-old girl. Yeah, I would think so. Anyway, he knows I'm not that kind of person. Well, maybe he doesn't. Whatever. Who knows? I'm sure he's probably not thinking about me. But the point is, I don't have any insecurities about people thinking that. So it didn't. That kind of false accusation didn't bother me at all. But what did bother me was that I thought he was intelligent. Right? Hey, Gregory McKenzie. I thought he was an intelligent person, so I was kind of like not perturbed. I was kind of surprised that he would just say, "Oh, you're a creeper because you're not agreeing that with me." That was basically it. You don't agree with me that DiCaprio is a creeper. I'm like, no, it's not whether I agree or not. I don't think it's worth thinking about. Like I'm not thinking. I mean, if you ask me, do you think DiCaprio is a creeper? No, I mean, no. I would say, if he wants to go after a girl who's 19 years old and she wants to go after him, because, and it's consensual, then it's none of my business. I mean, I personally think it would be difficult. But at the same time, my mom was 19 when she got married, and she was 20 when she had me. So, I mean, they're adults, right? And my dad was 27. He was 8 years older. Is that creeper? I'm 8 years older or 10 years older than my wife. Am I a creeper? My wife's father is 10 years older than his wife, or 8 years older. I forget. But anyway, quite a bit older. I mean, what is the difference between 8 years and 10 years, 15 years? If you legally decide that adults are adults at this age, then you can't really start saying that this is creepy anymore. You've got to make a decision that it's okay, it's not okay. And if they decide it's okay, then it's none of your business and it doesn't affect you. So fucking move on. Like, don't think about something that you can affect. And actually, if you're so worried about shit like that, then maybe you should be campaigning for laws that don't make 19-year-olds adults anymore. Maybe raise the adult age to 21 or 22 or whatever you think DiCaprio should not be after. And the thing is, I don't give a shit about DiCaprio. I'm not concerned about it. I like his, I would say basically almost every movie. Your great grandmother was married at 13. Yeah, probably. Almost every movie DiCaprio's ever been in has been a good movie. And he donates a lot of money to environmental causes. He probably helps a lot. He probably does more for the earth than anyone else. So, women are attracted to status and stability. You can look just about anything, really. Well, Carl, you are right generally, but that doesn't mean every woman will go with that. There are women who don't care how rich you are. They're just not interested. But you will find some woman who will marry you if you're rich, even if you're ugly, fat, and bald, and an asshole. So anyway, let's go back to AngryAussie. So he insulted me and said, "Oh, you must be a creeper." And I'm like, "Come on, dude. I'm not. You know me. We've interacted. We've known each other for a long time. So I'm not bothered by this. But you're performing now. You must be performing for your people in the comment section of your Facebook page, right? Because I'm not that. I'm married. I have 2 kids, and that's not the point." I said, I gave you some legitimate questions, which you completely avoided with ad hominem attacks. Gonna call me a creeper, right? So come on, man, be better, right? So, I mean, he had nothing of, he could not defend his position at all. So then he erased all my comments and he blocked me. And I was really surprised because this is a guy who proclaims to be you know, a justice warrior of some type. He's standing up and fighting the good fight and being a good person. And he's obviously what do they call that? I often think that this is kind of a bullshit comment, but what is that? Virtual signaling. He's the kind of, I didn't think about it. I never thought that was really a true thing, but maybe it is. Because he could not defend his position at all. And instead of defending his position, he decided to just erase my comments and block me. So I don't care. I don't care. I mean, he probably did me a favor and did himself a favor, I guess, because there's no way he could argue against me, because he couldn't. I mean, you can't make arguments against the fact that DiCaprio dating a 19-year-old girl has no relevance to anyone's life at all, except DiCaprio and the girl he's dating, and maybe her parents. Really. I will say that I'm pretty amazed that DiCaprio has no children. You think he would have slipped up by now? Oh, by the way, I think this is kind of, speaking of condoms. Well, it's raining in Japan today, so when you go to any store, restaurant, whatever, my wife didn't feel like cooking today, so we went out to eat at a family restaurant, and they have these plastic bags at the entrance where you put your umbrella in. And I always thought it's funny that, I don't know where I heard this, but someone calls them umbrella condoms. And I just thought that's a pretty funny expression. Do they have those in other countries? They have them in Japan. They have these plastic bags that when you walk into the restaurant, you grab a plastic bag and you put your umbrella in the plastic bag, right? Yeah, if you can vote and go to war and die, then you can have sex with DiCaprio, if you ask me. But that's not the point. The point is, AngryAussie could not defend his position, and instead of trying or talking to me, he just decided to block me. I was rather disappointed. I thought he was smarter than that. I thought he had some intellectual integrity, but he doesn't. I mean, basically, it's either agree with him, in his mind, it's, if you don't agree with me, then yeah, fuck you. So he's a phony. I mean, he's a phony. Yeah. So I guess that would explain why his channel has remained only 27,000 subscribers after so many years, 15 years. But yeah. I used to kind of think he was an okay guy, but now. Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. But I didn't. I thought I wouldn't even mention this at all because he's kind of a nobody. But I think if you go on to Facebook and declare yourself to be a public figure, and then pull shit like this, then you deserve to be called out for. Because you know what? Because that's what DiCaprio is, right? DiCaprio is a public figure. And maybe that's why he feels comfortable going after him. I don't know. Anyway, so my a body condom. No, it's not a body condom. It's a umbrella condom. He used to be really funny. Yeah, I used to. Yeah, okay, you know him. Okay. My late younger brother dated someone nearly 15 years younger. He did have a lot of the family debating on whether it was right. Yeah. If two people are in it together, then leave them alone, really. I mean, you can feel you can feel uncomfortable about it and weird about it, but you really shouldn't be posting shit on Facebook about it. Who cares? You're a grown man. Okay, anyway, that's one thing I want to talk to you about. My son relapsed yesterday, so today he stayed home again from school, and we were saying Japanese guzuteru, which means he's kind of fussy. He's fussy. He's easily upset. So we had kind of a bad day. I had to stay home in the morning before I went to my classes and just kind of look after him. And my son and my daughter So when we decided he was going to stay home, and she only goes to nursery school, so she's like, I'm going to stay home too. So we're like, okay, you stay home. You both stay home. But they were basically a pain in the ass this whole morning. But but then I had something kind of positive happen. I went to school and I taught a class of two older women, really wonderful, great students. They've been with me for literally 15 years or so. And they're both in their 70s now, I think. And maybe 75 or more, 77, 75 or so. And um, one of the women has children. And I mean, I won't get too specific, but one of her children is a woman, a very attractive, older, successful woman who has a professional job. And she was traveling. She told me, and we always ask at the beginning of class, what's new? She said, oh, my daughter is in Europe. And I made kind of a joke, like, oh, maybe she's visiting her boyfriend, because she had been in Europe last year too. And she said, boyfriend or girlfriend, I don't know. And the thing is, I don't think she actually meant it as a romantic thing, like in Japanese, boyfriend, girlfriend has no romantic nuance, A boyfriend does, but girlfriend doesn't. So if you say, this is my girlfriend, it would just mean this is my friend who's female, if you were our female. They wouldn't understand that there's a nuance there. There's an implication of romantic connection there. But the other woman, but the thing is, I've kind of I've met this woman, and I've kind of suspected that maybe that was possibly the case with her. But but I haven't put that much thought into it. Like I don't sit around and obsess over who's gay and who's not gay. But I thought, well, maybe she is, But who cares, right? It's not a big deal, either way. Maybe that's why she's still single, because she's still single, and she must be almost 40 now, I would think, because I've known this family a long time, and she was actually my student as well. But this is what was interesting. The other woman in the class said, maybe it's girlfriend, maybe it's a boyfriend. Either way, it's fine, right? Right? If it's a serious relationship, who cares? And I was really surprised, because this woman who said this had shown really homophobic tendencies in the past. And because I've been teaching, like I said, almost maybe 15 years or so, maybe longer. And in the past, she said when of course, I mean, not every class, but once in a while we'll talk about the news, and they'll talk about something in the news, and it might come up that someone might be gay or something. And this woman mentioned, well, not mentioned, she's made remarks in the past, like very homophobic remarks, like, "Oh, that's just weird. Oh, oh, maybe they're gay. Oh, that's disgusting. Not disgusting, but they would say like, hentai, and like, that's strange, right? Isn't that strange? That's just strange." Right? And I've bitten my tongue on many occasions, because it's not my place to ethically educate, morally educate women, especially women who are older than me, and women who are not patients, but sometimes they're like patients, who are my students. But yeah, I've been disappointed in the past with her, because she's a very intelligent woman. She's full of knowledge. She knows everything about everything. Like she has international history, Japanese history, world history, current events. She's up to date on everything. She knows like how COVID's doing in every part of the world. Landmass, Japan compared to this country, whatever. And she's very opinionated about politicians. She'll say, "Oh, I didn't like Abe." Like when Abe was shot, she was in the class. She was like, "We didn't know he was dead yet," and she was like, "I don't care." She was funny. Do you still have your math hat? Math hat? That was a math hat. You mean meth hat? You mean this? Maybe I have a top hat. I have a top hat. Where's my top hat? I haven't worn this for a long time. No, Jan Motz. Here's the news. So she was very homophobic in the past, but today, when the other student mentioned that maybe her daughter had a boyfriend or a girlfriend, my previously thought to be homophobic student surprised me by saying, "Hey, why not? Maybe she does have a girlfriend. It's fine if they have a nice, serious relationship. Good for her. Girlfriend or boyfriend, it's not important, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's right." So I was surprised. I mean, I guess I had a positive influence on her. Yeah, but yeah, Harry Huffy. Hey, good to see you, man. Yeah, I guess if you're open for change. Now, here's something. This is kind of a segue when it comes to accepting homosexuality and things like that. I grew up in a society where a very racist and bigoted society in the South, and people would say things like "drive white," which means drive white, don't drive like a black person. Right? It's a very, very racist thing to say. But when I was growing up, we didn't even think about that. Like that, we didn't think that that's what it meant. We just thought drive white means drive correctly, be a good driver, right? And we would say things like that, like he Jewed me out of $10. Like we would use Jew as a verb. Not me. I mean, I guess me too, but it wasn't a conscious thing. It wasn't something we all thought about. Like, oh, Jews are cheap, so we have to use Jew as a verb. It was just that that's being cheap. The verb for being cheap was to Jew somebody, right? Yeah, and I'm a Hispanic, so I speak Spanish. So no, so KT, that's not childish. It was not childish. It was completely ignorant. It's completely ignorant. But I mean, like pure. It was pure in a way, in that there was no malice or thought behind it. Like when you if you're a racist, you think black people are bad, so we shouldn't drive like black people. We should drive like white people. If you had that conscious idea in your head, it would be racist. But people would say drive white without thinking about the implications of that at all. So in my mind, I would say if you didn't understand what you were saying, it's forgivable. And let me give you another example of that. Okay, in Japan, there's not anymore. Well, actually, they still exist, but back in the day, like 30 years ago, people would use something called tsukai tsute cameras, which are disposable cameras. Those are little plastic cameras that had actual film in them, and you could take like whatever 30 shots, 24 shots, and then you would have to take the camera into a shop and get the photos developed. Right now, the nickname of these cameras were Bakachon camera. Baka means idiot. Chon, actually, the original meaning of chon for this camera is the sound of the camera clicking. Chon. That's all it came from. It was an onomatopoeia. But by coincidence, the slang for Korean people, the slang expression, I guess the N word, so to speak, was also chon. So they're umareta, when in English, there was born, they're birthed, a rumor was created. We don't know where it came from, but somehow a rumor emerged. I guess that's the word, emerged. And this is before internet, but there was, well, maybe no, there was some internet around there. Yeah, the internet was around, but an internet emerged that Bakachon camera meant that this camera is so easy to use, even an idiot or even a Korean person could use it. So people started to think that the word bakachon was a racist expression. But after some etymological, which means researching the root of the word, after some etymological research happened, if you looked at it etymologically speaking, you would see that actually bakachon camera had nothing to do with Koreans. It was just coincidental that the word chon happened to also be a slang or a slur for Korean people. And here's another example of that. The word niggardly, right? And I'll write this down so you can see it. Hold on. See this word? Niggardly. I think I hope I spell it wrong. I spell it. Am I back? Oh, there we go. Okay. So there it is. Yeah, maybe Diego Alarcon. So this word niggardly means to be basically cheap. Okay. And there was a man I think it was in Georgia. There's a politician, a low-level politician in Georgia, who used this word in a speech, and he was accused of being racist because people thought it it came from the N-word, but it has no connection to the N-word at all. Okay, right? Is my camera back, by the way? Can everyone see me? I'm gonna do a quick check. Yeah, let me turn on the sound really quick. Yeah, okay. So the word niggardly has no connection to the N-word. I almost said the N-word at all. But as a result, the politician was forced to resign. Okay, right? So what I'm saying is that drive white, if you don't know the origin or what it's supposed to refer to, I think is an innocent expression until someone tells you what it means. And then you're like, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't say that anymore. Right? So where is he? Let me see. KT seems to disagree, but yeah, like the expression "that's so gay." Yeah, exactly. That's so gay. We shouldn't say that. That's so gay anymore. But I come from a generation where saying retard and gay is completely acceptable. But it never refers to people with Down syndrome, and it never refers. What does it show? Yeah. Oh, okay. Actually, someone, Carl Carsonek, your comment has been tagged by YouTube as inappropriate, but I okayed it. So, okay. Oh yeah. It's like in Don Young talks about the word. Well, let me show you. Let's look it up, okay? How do you say you in Korean? Oh, is this a good word? Neo. No, there's another word. In Hangul, how about that? Will that help at all? Oh, it's the same thing, Neo. You. Well, but it doesn't show you. It shows you Korean. I can't read this. Hold on. How about you in Korean sounds? Oh, yeah, there we go. Sounds like the N word. There we go. And it's called Nia. Nia. But there's a small. I guess it sounds like Niga. So see if you can see that. Oh, you can't see my screen. Hold on a second. Let me show you. Oh, I thought you could see my screen. Show my screen. Just a minute. There we go. So you can see my screen here. I'm gonna blow this up here. Right. So for example, the BTS lyric is Nase olda hane niga johalen naro bion naiga. Right. You say I'm strange when I change into a person you liked. So you in this sentence in Korean is niga and naiga. But if you were not familiar with these words, you might think that these words were slurs for a black person. So they're like that, But actually, that's just a mistake. I guess we could argue that saying "drive white" or "don't Jew me" out of $10 are definitely much more racist than that. But I grew up in a generation where you would say that's so gay and that's retarded, and no one would think twice, and no one would say, "Oh, you can't say things like that." With the what is it? Confederate flag on a car was just considered a source of Southern pride and didn't have any racial undertones to it. But now, of course, it does. But see, once that happens, people just kind of let it go. I think holding on to something like that is just silly. If everyone agrees that the Confederate flag is racist and the word retarded is a slur, then here we got some more comments that are being hidden. Show. There we go. Yeah, so basically he was LaForge Keeper says he was forced to resign because people don't understand English words. Yeah, people were. Sorry, I'm back. I think the settings on my mouse are a little bit too tender, so too sensitive, so things like that happen. Okay, but I wanted to bring you to something that has kind of been bothering me. So I have, like I told you guys last night, I have a family chat in a chat room on Facebook for just my family, and we're about a year ago. So we were talking about the "Don't Say Gay" bill and how. And one of my sisters lives in Florida, and she was quite happy for this, right? Just a second. And she's against like transsexuals talking about their sex lives or whatever in the classroom. And and my other sister also agreed, and I tended to agree in my heart, but from a logical point of view, this is what I question. If we agree as a society that transsexuals are okay, right? They can have other jobs, and shouldn't they be allowed to have all other jobs? I mean, how can you say, okay, it's okay to be transsexual, but you can't teach children? Then you're basically saying it's not okay, right? I mean, we agree pedophilia is wrong completely. Everyone agrees that, and it's illegal, and you can't be a pedophile, and if you're a pedophile, you definitely cannot teach children or be in contact with children. But there are no such rules about transsexuals, right? If she's against transsexuals, so how does she perceive Matsuko? Yeah, that's the thing. Japan is really bizarre like that. Like in Japan, gay marriage is not allowed, generally speaking, not on the federal level. They're actually debating it quite a bit right now. A lot of politicians have put their foot in their mouth by saying they're against it. But on the TV circuit, on the entertainment circuit, it's quite common to have. There are quite a few transsexuals who are very, very popular, right? So, although I will be honest with you and tell you that I'm not comfortable with the whole transsexual thing, but I sympathize with transsexuals, and I would consider myself an ally, but I don't want to, even homosexual activity. I don't want to watch it, you know. There was episode 3 of This Is Us, or was it episode 2? Episode 2 or 3 of This Is Us, was a big homosexual love story between two guys, and it was a great story. But I got to tell you, I fast forwarded through the romantic scenes. But I also tell you that I fast forward through heterosexual romantic scenes because I'm not interested in that. If I wanted to watch that, I would just watch porn. Why would I want that? You know. Anyway, I'm not comfortable with those scenes, and I fast forward through them. The Last of Us, yes, or as my father would say, The Last of Us. So here, my point. Oh well, Jesus Christ, thank you. I gotta go. Yeah, thanks, man. Cheers. But I gotta say that from an intellectual point of view, if you accept transsexuals in our society, then you've got to accept them across the board, I think, from an intellectual point of view. Although I will be the first to raise my hand and say, I'm actually not very comfortable with the whole thing. There's a guy I follow on Instagram. It's something, what was it called? Pink Manoray or something? What's it called? Well, I can actually probably find him if anyone's interested in guys like this. What's his name? Pink Manoray. Yeah, that's right. Skylar Baylor, right? And he posted something, and this is something weird. Like he posted this video, right? He posted this video yesterday, and it's like saying transsexuals can. He went to the White House and he met President Biden, and he says in this video, like, I'm so proud to be transsexual. You're gonna see this in a second, but in many ways, I didn't care how to care, but today I met the President of the United States, and that feeling was huge. And he says, I wanted to share that the President's not a perfect person, but hold on. He says right here. Here it comes. It's coming up. Oh, maybe I should just skip it. Anyway, he says right in the beginning, right very near to this part, he says, I'm so proud to be transsexual. And I'm like, that's kind of a weird thing to say. I don't understand that. Like, I'm not proud to be heterosexual. I'm just heterosexual. I think if you're transsexual, fine, you're transsexual. I wouldn't say it's something you should be proud about. These are my pajamas. Oh, this script my wife gave me. And this guy is fine, but this guy is fine. I follow him on Instagram, because I want to be empathetic with the transsexuals and stuff. But I also want to be intelligent about this whole thing, and I'm interested in the fact that our society is so obsessed with transsexuals, although they're such a minor part of society, like 1% of society or something, right? I think it's kind of screwed up. I think the fact that we fear transsexuals is kind of weird. It's like almost like fearing like alligators or something. I mean, how often do people get attacked by alligators? I mean, transsexuals never hurt you at all, but like if you're a New Yorker, like, oh, I'm afraid of alligators in the sewer. It's just a myth, man. Like alligators are not going to do anything to you. The other thing that I think is important to point out is the whole grooming theory, and the fact, like a lot of people hate Disney now because they fear that Disney is brainwashing, and they've gone woke and they're going to brainwash our children to be gay and transsexual. But let me point out something to you guys. What is it? It's Identity Politics 101. They're daring you to call them on it so they can call you a bigot and dismiss you out of hand. Call the bluff 100% of the time. They cave like paper. Well, I don't know if they cave, but well, the media is obsessed because they think they print what we're obsessed about. Yeah. So people are. I mean, I think people are really. It's a trigger for a lot of people. This whole homosexual and transgender stuff. But here's something that I think everyone really has to think about, and I want you to think about today. And again, I'm not comfortable at all with homosexuality, and I'm not comfortable with transgenderism, but I do intellectually, I am an ally and I support, and I'm realistic. I mean, come on, gay people and transsexual people exist, period. They're not gonna disappear just because you don't like them, right? Robert, Ryan, Victor, I think LGBT people are proud of who they are. Yeah, but you know what? I think that I agree with you, Robert, Ryan, but I think, as Robert Ryan says, I think though, however, I feel like I feel like that guy that's telling, what's that guy in the Congress right now who's lying to everybody? I forgot his name. Christ, what's his name? Anyway, I feel like I'm stumbling over my words like that. I think that if real progress is made with transsexual within the LGBT community, then people shouldn't be proud of it. They're just like, this is just who we are. There's other things to be proud of. Like, I don't think your whole identity should be the fact that you're gay or transsexual or heterosexual, right? Right. Anyway. But I wanted to point out something that I think a lot of us kind of miss. I think you need to live in the U.S. to understand. I don't think living in the U.S. these days means anything. I follow a lot of U.S. news and politics. I don't think that's relevant. Why? Do you have like transsexuals and gays running around your neighborhood that's going to change something? There are gays and transsexuals here. You see them all the time. I see them on the subway all the time. And they do have parades and such. But anyway, here, okay, let me get to the point. Before, I'm going to be really, Critical East Japan, how you doing? George Santos, thank you. George Santos. The way I was talking right now, I felt like I'm a George Santos liar. Like, well, you see, the point is, and therefore, furthermore, of course, you will see it naturally. It only, on the other hand, and okay, so this is the point. We were all raised on heterosexual menus of entertainment. Okay, as when we were children, we all watched Disney movies, and the princess and the Prince Charming saves the princess, and the heroes were always men. And I don't know why you're always hung up on the pride. Oh, because I'm not a proud person. I don't think you can be proud. You should be proud of things you have no control over. If you're transsexual and you say you were born transsexual, then why would you be proud of being? It's like being proud of having black hair or blue eyes. I mean, you just have them. There's nothing. How can you be proud of something you had no choice? Right. Okay. So when we were growing up, we were raised on heterosexual media, right? Completely. And in our media, we had very few representations of all minorities, and that includes LGBT people. So right now, there's been like this backlash against woke culture. But if you think about it, it's kind of just evening things out. What's his name? Tucker Carlson, who is one of the biggest scumbags in the world. He's like, oh, Biden is just only appointing black people to federal judges as federal judges. And someone pointed out, well, you know what? There's like 700 federal judges, and even now there's only like 50 of them are black. So, this America's whole history has been supportive of white heterosexual people, right? So, yeah. So here's the thing. Despite the fact that we all grew up in a culture of media, in a world of entertainment where all the people were heterosexuals, right? And heterosexual in a heterosexual culture, gay people somehow still exist, right? So if this theory that woke media will turn your children gay or transsexual. If you think that's true, then what you're saying is that all the people that are gay now shouldn't be gay because they were raised on heterosexual culture, right? What you're saying is that you're saying that the heterosexual culture should have created a completely heterosexual society, but that's not true, because the heterosexual media had no effect on the gender preferences of many people. A lot of people are bisexual or homosexual or transsexual, despite the fact that they were raised on the same culture that you and I, normal heterosexual people, were raised on, right? So if you think about it, even if you made all the media gay, which of course you're not going to, but even if you have one character on the Buzz Lightyear movie who kisses her girlfriend, and not in a super sexual way, just like, oh, happy birthday, baby, gives her a kiss, and you want to ban the movie because you're afraid your children are going to become gay, that's just ridiculous. That's just stupid. And even if you're like me and you're not completely comfortable with displays of homosexuality, you've got to admit that that's just ridiculous. Your kids watching. Oh, you know what? My brother, my son and I were watching the This Is Us episode where the two men are kissing, right? And my brother, why did I say my brother? My son, he's like my brother. My son was confused and he said, "Hey, that's weird. They're kissing. They're guys." And I paused the video. I said, "They're gay." And I said, "So, little Victor," I said, some people, most people are like me and mom, and we like boys like girls and girls like boys. But some people are gay. That means that they like boys. Boys like boys and girls like girls. Okay? The Last of Us, yes. And I just explained it to him. And I didn't make it a big deal. And I didn't say some people are gross, or I didn't say anything like that. I just was very factual. Some people are like that. I did say most people. I said most people are like mom and dad, and boys like girls and girls like boys. Kyle's coin, that's not a fact. He pointed out a twisted fact, Kyle's coin. And if you can't see that, you're a dumbass. Look into it. The fact that Joe Biden appointed a bunch of women doesn't mean you have to, that may be true, but you have to take into account the fact that 90% of all the judges are white men. So if anything, he's kind of evening things out, Right. Anyway, I just wanted to point out to everyone who's watching this that you shouldn't be afraid of woke culture or gay people in your media, in your entertainment. They're not gonna change you or your children. Yeah, that's all. I mean, from a logical point of view. And like I said, I personally am not comfortable watching that kind of stuff because I'm old-fashioned. I was raised on a heterosexual diet, but I think it's silly for everyone to be scared of this woke agenda. They're going to turn all your kids gay, kind of stuff. Yeah. And I think we got to be logical about things like this. When it comes like DiCaprio, like if women are considered adults at 19 and they're allowed to date whoever they want, then shut up. Let DiCaprio date whoever he wants. It's not raping them. It's not. And if you agree that transsexual people and gay people should be allowed to exist in the world, then they should be allowed to teach our children. And when it comes to sexuality, and if you're worried about sexual education, then you know what? That is your job, the parents' job, to educate them. The teachers may say different things and may present different, may give the children different ideas, but at the end, they're your kids. You've got to sit down and tell them. Like I told my son, okay, some people are gay, some people are lesbians, and some people are not, and that's it. And that's all you can do. I'd probably do the same as DiCaprio. Does woke culture contain cancel culture? Cancel culture exists everywhere. Like the right and the left both do it. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, the culture wars are ridiculous. Like, who cares? Like, there's other things that are much more important. Anyway, that's an hour I've been on. Last night I was on 2 hours, and I got some grief from people who were like, oh, this is too long. So I'm going to keep it to an hour tonight. But I do thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the donation. I do appreciate that. Because as soon as I drop an F word, somehow YouTube picks up the fact that I dropped an F word. And they demonetize the video. So anyway, I'm going to find out how much, what is DK 50,000? I don't even know what currency it is. A currency? What is that? It's 941 yen. Yay, I made 1,000 yen. There we go. I wasn't even sure what currency that was. They're kronos? What is this currency? Danish kroner. Whoa, Danish money. All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Eater. And on that note, I bid you all adieu. Good night. I will be back soon because now that I've restarted the live shows, I will come back and give you some more. And I will read your comments too. If there's something that really needs to be addressed. By the way, if there's something that you really want to address and talk to me about, or you want me to address, please feel free to email me at gimmeabreakman@gmail.com, or I think askgimmeabreakman @gmail.com. If you email me, will this work? Oh, will this work? Yeah. There we go. If you, that doesn't, there should be a pause. I'm going to try that again. What company did you buy your glasses from, pretty please? Monkey Flip in Ostcannon, but they don't make them anymore. So if you got a question for me, something you really want me to address, I would appreciate you hit me up. You can also just follow me on Twitter. This is my Japanese related Twitter, which is Japanese for morons, right here with a 4. This is my Twitter, so follow me there. Oops. There we go. And that's all for now. Oh, Tomo. Hello, Tomo. Didn't see you there. Okay. There we go. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back soon. See ya. Bye.